Hello, folks. Welcome to the Counting Sheep podcast. My name is Ruth, and I am your host. My podcast is about mostly fibery things, mostly crocheting, a little bit of knitting, some spinning, and some other bits that I get up to. Welcome. I'm happy to have you here today. This is my episode number 3. And just a little admin about some previous episodes, notably episode 1, which I had to repost because I accidentally deleted it. So the struggle is real. I have been having on and off problems with uploading and that sort of thing. So I am switching providers for our cell phone this week, and also looking into maybe shortening my time so the upload files aren't so big. So we'll see where that gets us. Hopefully, it's just growing pains on my part in terms of being a new podcaster and trying to get the videos to upload in a fairly expedited manner. But anyway, enough about that. I am sitting on my deck in my backyard in Vermont. It happens to be a beautiful Vermont spring day. Won't have too many more spring days. Summer is coming up, our summer solstice. And we've actually had a lot of rain this spring, especially a very rainy June. And so we've needed the rain. It has been quite dry. The forecasters have told us that we still need some more rain to catch up, but on Saturday this past weekend it was just bucketing down. So hopefully we're catching up, and the gardens and the growing bits are getting the moisture that they need. So last weekend was Worldwide Knit or Crochet in Public Day, and how did you all do with that? I was out when we went. My husband and I took a trip up to Burlington, road trip up to Burlington, Vermont, and we sat and listened to some jazz music. They were having their Discover Jazz Festival, which they have every year in June, and there were some outdoor venues there, and we got to listen to some really good jazz music, and I got to crochet a little bit, and I did put up a small video of me crocheting in Burlington, Vermont last weekend, so that was quite fun. It was beautiful weather last Saturday, not this past Saturday, but we had gorgeous weather for the Jazz Fest, so that that was good. So anyway, so that's all the news since the last time, except for all the makes that I have in front of me and surrounding me. So let's get to it. I'm very excited. I have a finished object, and I would have wore it today, except it's still kind of cool here, and it is a summery top, and I did show the work in progress last time. So this is my Cressy, and it is done. This was a really fast make. And it's absolutely beautiful. The yarn is beautiful, and it fits so well. I'm going to put some pictures in here right now to show you how it looks on me. The yarn that I used is Berroco Medina, and I put in the colorway the last time, colorway number, and I actually found out that all of the color numbers have names. Last time I said they just had a number on the ball, but when I put it into Ravelry, there's actually names that come up for the yarn. It's Berroco Medina, and it's a cotton acrylic viscose combination. So those 3 different fibers, and it has a lot of nice drape, and I just love the color. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of their colors, I think, especially for this item. So really happy. and just waiting. I'm waiting for some warm weather so I can go out and wear this. It looks really great with jeans, and you can also dress it up, and I am just loving it. And it was such a fast make, so crocheters, you want something fast to make for the summer, I highly recommend. So that's the Cressy. I'll just show you the pattern briefly here. That's the actual picture on the front. I did buy this from Webs, and also the yarn from Webs, and I bought I think it was 4 balls. I did have to go quite down in hook size. I recall, yeah. It calls for a size 3.25 millimeter hook, or in the US we tend to use letters, size D. I went all the way down to a size B, and size B can come in different millimeter sizes. It was the 2 millimeter size that I went with. That's the smallest B you can get in the United States. So I did have to go down quite a bit to make gauge. But once I made gauge, it was a breeze. And this was about all I had left. A little nugget from one ball, and then this from another ball. So fun. Might find something to do with those in the future. So, all right, so onward in crocheting. I have been making some progress on my crochet C to C, corner to corner blanket for the grand niece or nephew coming in September. And I finally made some decisions on this because I was between trying to decide whether it was going to be a square or a rectangle, and I finally decided on a rectangle, just given the amounts of yarn I had left and that sort of thing. I wasn't running out of yarn, I just was trying to think of how the color sequence was going to go. So this is how it looks now. I've added red, and now I've started to add in the white again. I should back up a little bit here. Sorry for the scraping. So as you can see, I've turned the corner here. And this is still kind of, well, if we look at it this way, this one, no, I had it right the first time. Let's turn it around this way. So I squared it off here, and it's going to be a rectangle, and I think the rest of it will be in white, and I'll soon, I think I've started to square it off here. Yeah, so I'm squaring it off here, so this is as long as it's going to get. Actually, this is as long as it's going to get. And this is as wide as it's going to get. So about 30 inches this way and 40 inches this way. So that's about newborn size blanket. But once again, loving the texture on it. And it goes quick. It does. It's one of those things you want to pick up when you're watching Jeopardy, because you really want to pay attention to Jeopardy. Or at least I do. I like to see if I can get the answers right. And so it doesn't require too much cerebral engagement to make this. So I'm using an H hook, or let's see, I want to give millimeter sizes when I can. It's 5 millimeter hook. Let me sit back down here. And this is this yarn, I've said before, is Berroco Vintage. And I wanted to share with you what prompted me to do this blanket was this color. And I had done a test crochet a couple months back for a designer. Her name is Oxana Sorokin. And I did this little sweater. And this is her pattern. It's called Textured Rib Cardigan. and it comes in sizes from 0 to 6 months to 12 years old. So quite the age range for children. It was a really fun make. You make the front and back panels, seam the shoulders, and then you work the sleeves separate as well. But the construction on the sleeves is quite clever. So I'm not going to give away any secret sauce here, but her pattern is over on Ravelry if you want to see what it's all about. It's a really fast make as well, and I found the stitch was new for me, and I really, and also her ribbing, the way she does her ribbing was also new for me as well. So I love it when I can test knit something and learn something at the same time, or test crochet something and learn the crochet, because I've been crocheting for a long time, since I was 11 years old. And it's always nice to learn new techniques. So that is the Textured Rib Cardigan. She also has an adult version that's out, and I test knit that one too for my husband, but I will share that maybe on a later podcast. So very cool. I loved making that. And then finally in crochet, although I have some other things on the back burner which I'll share later on, is my Aurora vest. And I've shared this twice now on both of my previous podcasts. This is a design by Sandra of Nomad Stitches, and just want to find a picture. Here it is. And this is actually the back, so you have this color work, which is an intarsia color work scheme on the back, and then on the front is just the plain. It's just this plain Maine color here. And that color is a wonderful dyed yarn by Ritual Dyes out in Oregon. And as you can see, lovely texture. This is not a difficult stitch. It just, it requires some mindfulness of where you're actually inserting your hook in the work. So that's why it has been taking me more time than the usual crochet project where I kind of zip through things. So anyway, that's the green, and then the back colors are this again. Once I haven't even wound them up yet, so but I will be caking those up shortly because now I'm on. You can see I'm on the decreases for the armhole, and then once the decreases for the armhole are completed, shortly thereafter, the neck shaping happens. And then I think after that it's pretty much the top is done. I did add an inch in length to the body because I don't like things that are all that short anymore. So, and that hook size is a 4.5 millimeter hook. It's a US 7, so that's not even a letter number. And sometimes I wish they would just all get on the same page with hook sizes, because it can be quite confusing between all the international sizes and then our sizing and that sort of thing. When I learned to crochet when I was a kid, all of the hook sizes were letter names. They were A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, all the way up. And that's still the case, but now I think they're trying to really standardize it a little more and include the millimeter sizes so that everybody knows what exactly they're using. So anyway, that is the Aurora vest. Having a good time with that, and but like I said, it's a different type of crochet stitch. It's not hard. It's just different, and so it's taken me a little time to maneuver that. So, but definitely recommend any of Sandra's from Nomad Stitches patterns. She's a wonderful designer, and she's a great teacher too. She has wonderful video tutorials to help you along the way. So, and a picture paints 1,000 words to me. So, All right, so that's all the crochet I have. Next up is my knitting, and I'm kind of proud that I have made some progress on my pressed flowers cardigan. This is a pattern by Amy Christophers, and otherwise known as Savory Knitting. And I'm doing mine in, the main color is my farm yarn, and the other color is from Feederbrook Farm. And let me show you, I'm well on my way to the armholes, but I'm not quite there yet. I need 12 inches altogether, and I'm not quite there, but here it is. It's so pretty. I don't think I haven't seen a pressed flowers project that I haven't liked. When I was at New Hampshire Sheep and Wool Festival, I saw several of the pressed flower iterations hanging up in booths, and they were just stunning. There's something about this pattern, and it is very potato chippy. Like, you just want to keep going. You want to see what the next color is that comes out of the ball. And of course, I like working with my own yarn as well. So, but this is going to be a stunner, I think. Along with just being in a muted color, this brown I just love. So it's not overstated at all. It's just going to be just lovely to wear for the fall. I realize that I haven't really said the needle sizes that I'm using. I tend to be a very loose knitter, so I have to go down on needle sizes quite frequently, like almost always. I'm a relatively, I can get gauge with crochet pretty readily, but never with knitting. So they call for a size 3 and a size 5. So the size 3 for the ribbing and the size 5 for the body of the cardigan. And well, I lied. This is a size 5, and I guess I made gauge with my own yarn. If that would be the case in other yarns or whatever. They used the yarn for the project here. The yarn they used was Spin Cycle dyed wool. Yeah, and I can almost guarantee you I would have not made gauge with a commercial yarn. For whatever reason, my yarn and a size 5 needle get along very well. So, but yeah, I did swatch this and I got gauge right on. Which I should just write that on the calendar because that will never happen again. So that's my pressed flowers cardie. Love, love, love. Gotta love it. I haven't started, I know last time I spoke about my mother wanting me to knit her a vest, and I was gonna make the Liquorice Vest for my mother. That's a pattern by Joji Locatelli, and I've made it before. I made one for myself out of my farm yarn, and I haven't started hers yet because I'm still spinning up the yarn for it, and I want to make sure I have enough of that 3-ply white yarn for her. So I have two what we call bobbins. These are bobbins in spinning. I have an empty one down here that I can show you. So that's a bobbin, an empty bobbin. I have two of these bobbins spun up as singles in the white yarn, which is from my sheep, my 2 lamb sheep, who that fleece is 9 years old now. It's been kicking around here for a while, but you know, good things come to those who wait, you know. So I'm gonna work on that yarn and get those singles spun up into a 3-ply, and then I'll see how much yardage I have, and I'll probably cast that on this weekend. I want to try to get that done for her, since she, you know, when somebody requests something, especially if it's your mother, you just want to get on with it, you know, and get it going. So that's the news for the knitting stuff. I want to show you something that I've been working on. This actually is a skein of yarn that I entered in the New Hampshire Sheep and Wool Festival, and it did win a ribbon. And this stuff is just so funky. I love it. This was a roving, hand-dyed roving that I bought from Classy Squid Fiber Co. That is her label. The very talented Amanda, who dyes up these wonderful colorways in her roving. And this happens to be, okay, here we go. This is her tweed base. It's a South American wool, 80% and 20% bamboo. So all the little white flecks that you see here that don't take up the dye add so much character to the yarn. And what I do with this is like the full, when it comes in the braid, I separate the braid out into, what I actually do is I take it from like where, this is where this kind of light blue starts, and I take it through one repeat. So you can see that's where the light blue starts again, so that I have all the colors in one strip. And then I strip this down. It's called fractal spinning. So I strip it down to like really thin, so that when I go to the wheel I have very little drafting to do. So you can see this is like a little spaghetti. So there's the little tip, the little blue tip to blue tip. And I will start spinning here and get it onto the wheel and spin my singles. And once I have a bobbin full, I will take it off and I will put it on my Lazy Kate, which is just a storage system for the bobbins, and then I'll put an empty spool or empty bobbin onto the wheel. And then I do a technique called chain plying, which is very similar to crochet. It is crocheting. It's like chaining while you're on the wheel, but also plying. So you get a 3-ply yarn. And I did a video, just a short video clip on that, and I'll insert that here. And so you can see that a lot of the colors are maintained in their own spots. So it's almost like a long repeat of color. And that's the beauty of doing the fractal spin along with the chain plying of the singles. And as you can see, it's just so vibrant, it's so colorful. And then the bamboo bits just add like the tweedy interest. So that's in the, this is actually the 3-ply. And I'll off-wind this to a skein. I'll soak it, and then I'll I'll hang it to dry with a little bit of weight so it sets the spin. And then this is what you end up with. It's beautiful, and it's very soft, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it yet. My thought is to weave with it, and I'll get to that in a minute. I think it would make really cool placemats, or even a cool dish towel, but I'm not sure I want I want this as a dish towel. This is just way too pretty to use in something that's going to have to put up with all that wear and tear. So we'll see. Sometimes you got to wait for it to talk to you and tell you what it wants to be. So that's my news and spinning this week. I wanted to move on to some of the things I've acquired in the past week to 2 weeks. I mentioned that I have a penchant for making small critters, either crocheted or knitted. And so when this book came out, I jumped at the chance to buy it. This is called Mouche and Friends, and it's a Lina Publishing book from Lina Publishing. And it's Seamless Toys to Knit and Love by Cynthia Vallée. And if you've ever seen any of Cynthia Vallée's work, it's just wonderful. I mean, it's cute and gorgeous. And one of the women I work with made this little duck, and it is just so cute. I can't stand it. But anyway, oh, let me just show you the grouping of these. They come with clothes too. So there's a sheep, bear, and I think this is a donkey. Yeah, looks like a donkey. I mean, they'd be great with that, even without the clothes, you know. But there's a pig, and this is a fairly new publication, but it is really done very well, I think, because the construction of these animals is very ingenious. It's like point-to-point knitting, so you start at one point and end at another, and you're done. You know, you stuff them, and that's that. But Nana the duck, I'm trying to look for a good picture of Nana the duck because she's quite cute. But anyway, I enjoy. It's not to say that I don't like sewing, but when you're knitting and that sort of thing, if there's a lot of sewing involved, it just adds to kind of the work, you know, the annoying work for me. So I like things that can be made all in one piece, and that's kind of the case with these little animals. I'm really having a time of it here, trying to find what I want to show. But anyway, I would enjoy any comments you have regarding making animals or amigurumi. Alright, so this is a small picture of Nana. And her dress is really cute. This is really adorable. So yeah, so I would love to work my way through this book. I don't know if that's possible, but it's the type of project that uses up all those odds and ends that you have laying around from other projects that, you know, leftovers. So definitely want to see where that takes me. So and finally, the other acquisition I wanted to show was the new PomPom magazine, and it's called Summer Crush. And look, guys, Crochet's on the cover. So I love that. I love that. You know, this is the essence of crocheting. We love to make those motifs and then very cleverly connect them together. This particular edition has, I believe, 3 or 4 different projects in crochet. So here's another look at that top, and just a close-up of the top. And this is called Lemonada. How appropriate, but you know, you can make it in any color you want, really. The other, one of the other projects is the Coolidge. This is a hat, and it's made from raffia yarn. So a really nice, cool summer hat to keep the sun off your face. And then on the back they have this really neat purse, which is done with the motifs again. And this kind of reminds me of a watermelon slice, but you can make it any kind of slice you want, whether it's lime, lemon, orange, you know, and then just add a neutral color or maybe add a bold color. And then finally, there was this one called Pastique, which I may or may not have bought the yarn kit for. How could I resist? It's done in ritual dye yarns. And as we know, I'm already kind of smitten with those yarns with the Aurora vest. So, but I'm finding that even though we've had cool weather up here, I want to make all the summer makes. So, and the color's really cool. Yeah, so I would check this out. It also has a number of knitting patterns in it for summer makes. The names of some of these I can't even pronounce, but and then I love this. I love the texture on that one. Very cool. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. I mean, a lot of these things, hopefully I'll have them done by the end of the summer. But like I said, we've been waiting for the warm weather, and I hate to, you know, you always have to be careful what you wish for. The really strong heat and humidity is something that I really don't care for, and that's why I live in Vermont. But it's been really damp here, so it's been, you know, like wear a layer damp. So we're kind of looking forward to a little of that warmth. So, all right, I think that's all I have in acquisitions and all the craft making. I just want to mention one thing. This weekend, my husband and I are headed over to Denmark, Maine, which is just about a half an hour east of North Conway, New Hampshire. If you're familiar with that area, it's the big white mountain area of northern New Hampshire. Just over the border and into Maine is an area that's quite lovely. All of New England is lovely in my opinion, but Maine has a lot of lakes and a lot of beauty in that sort. So this area that we're headed to has a lovely lake, and it's a big recreation area in the summertime, canoeing and camping and that sort of thing. But every year in Denmark, Maine, in June, there is a series of workshops that are held over 3 days called Pleasant Mountain Fiber Arts Workshops. And they're coordinated by one of the artisans in the area, and she attracts local artisans from all over New England to teach fiber-related workshops. And I've been able to go for several years now, except for during the pandemic. And I've enjoyed myself immensely. And I've learned other things other than what I do all the time on a daily basis, like crocheting, knitting. And so I decided I was going to go this year. And we like the area up there. It's kind of nice. You know, there's a lot to do. A lot to do for my husband because he doesn't do the workshops. He likes to go out and see nature and take in the sights. So I actually signed up for 2 workshops, and you can take full-day workshops or half-day workshops. And the ones that I signed up for full day on Friday, I'll be taking Sashiko workshop, or Sashiko. I'm not quite sure what the proper pronunciation for that is, but it's a Japanese mending technique that has grown in popularity as of late. And so I've decided that, you know, because I do some hand sewing, that would be a cool thing to learn. And so that's a full day class. And then on Saturday I'm taking another full day class, and that is rigid Heddle weaving. I have actually two rigid Heddle looms that I own. One is a cricket loom, and then the other one is an Ashford knitter's loom. And both of them are kind of sitting gathering dust, and I want to kind of kickstart that whole weaving thing. I don't really want to go to a floor loom. I don't think my interest is in weaving is that advanced, or will be. But I'm appreciating more and more what people are doing with the smaller looms. So I will for sure take some pictures, lots of pictures of the other people and what they're making. If they'll let me, I'll ask them permission. And also, if I can get some footage, I'll also have that for the next podcast. So something to look forward to. I'm certainly looking forward to it myself. It's always nice to get away for a couple of days, even though you live in a beautiful, beautiful place. So I think that's all I have for now. And all's left to say is take care of yourself, and keep on crafting, and I will see you the next time.